County.
And welcome to another episode in our virtual garden club series. So today we're going to be making some zucchini chocolate chip oatmeal cookies.
So the zucchini that we're using are the really large zucchini that get a little bit out of hand. They're ones that you wouldn't necessarily want to stir fry or something on your stovetop because they're too big. And so we're utilizing them in a different method.
Okay, so we've got our gloves on, we've got our aprons on, and we are going to get a few more things together and we'll be right back. Okay, so before using any fresh vegetables from your garden in a recipe, you want to always make sure that you pre-wash them beforehand because you want to get all the dirt, germs, or herbicides that could have been sprayed while they were growing off. So just rinse it under some lukewarm water, make sure you brush all the dirt off, and you're good to go.
So what we didn't mention before is that you are going to need some paper towels. So what you do, once we've shredded this, we're actually going to put it all in this bowl, and we're going to take the paper towel and we're going to squeeze it. So we went ahead and lined the bowl with some paper towels right now. And so what we're going to do, since we're not having to cheese grate these huge old zucchinis, we're going to cut them probably in about thirds, and then Miss Courtney can start cheese grating them, or just grating them, because it's not cheese. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these, but just be very careful. You make sure that you have permission to use a knife and that your parents are involved whenever you're doing all of this. These graters can really hurt you if you get your fingers too close. So you want to make sure that you're very safe about it all.
Okay, so you're going to want to put your zucchini in the center of these paper towels, kind of how we showed you in the bowl. And you just want to squeeze, get it over a sink or another bowl or something. You're going to squeeze as hard as you can. You're going to see some green liquid come out. And that is what you're trying to accomplish. You want to get as much of that water out of the zucchini as possible so that your recipe is not very watery, okay? So just keep doing that until you're not getting any more liquid coming out. And sometimes if you have to, you can wring it a second time, let it sit for a second, and then squeeze it out again.
So we just finished squeezing and draining all of the juice out of our zucchini as much as we could. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start measuring out all of our ingredients and mixing it in this bowl. So the first thing that we need is we preheated the oven to 350. In this recipe, it talks about putting a light coat of cooking spray on the cookie sheets, but what we're doing instead is using parchment paper. So it's very similar, except for you don't have to put it on there, and whatever you're putting on the parchment paper is not going to stick. So we try and use the easy way out, right? Mm-hmm. So what Miss Courtney's doing now is we have softened our butter. This recipe we're doubling, so instead of having 6 tablespoons, we put 12 tablespoons of butter into this mixing bowl. So next what we're going to do, let's find our little area. So we are going to be adding butter, and we are going to mix it for 2 minutes so it becomes smooth and creamy. So Miss Courtney's going to go ahead and get started on that. So for our sugar, we are going to use 1 full cup of brown sugar.
And you can use light brown or dark brown sugar. 1 cup.
We've got our brown sugar. Now what Miss Courtney's going to do is she is going to mix this in with our hand mixer into the bowl with the butter, and she's going to mix it for about 3 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll come right back. So now that we have mixed together our butter and our sugar, we are going to add in our honey, which we are going to have 1/2 cup of honey.
Okay.
And then we're going to have 1/2 cup of Greek yogurt. We have our 1/2 cup of Greek yogurt, and then we are going to add in 2 eggs. And after she's mixed in the 2 eggs, then we are going to do 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And just keep in mind that we are doubling this recipe. Okay, so now what she's going to do is she's going to mix all that up with that hand mixer. Okay, so now that she's mixed together all of this more liquid ingredients, we're going to add in our dry ingredients. So for this recipe, we need to put 3 cups of white flour. Okay. Okay, so 3 whole cups. So this measuring cup is a 2 cup measuring cup, so she's going to do 1.5 of these measuring cups. So there's 2 cups, and then we'll add 1 more cup. Okay, and so then now we're going to add 2 cups of the oats. So I'll measure those out while Miss Courtney starts to kind of hand mix that a little bit, because if you put that electric hand mixer in there whenever the flour's kind of all over the place, then it can explode.
There's going to be flour all over you. Miss Courtney knows that because she's done it at least once or twice in her life.
Miss Hailey's done it a lot more than once or twice. And then we're going to go ahead and add these oats while she's mixing it. And then next we are going to have 3 teaspoons of baking powder. So we had discussed this before. And let me grab it.
Miss Courtney forgot to put it on the table.
But so baking powder is going to be the more sifted type, the smaller grained one.
And
we are going to do, what did I say, three teaspoons? So what we're going to do is we're going to take our teaspoon and we are going to dry it out from when we used it before. And now we're going to do 3 teaspoons. 1, 2, 3. 3 teaspoons of that. And then we're going to add 1 teaspoon of salt. We'll have Miss Courtney keep mixing. The salt doesn't come out very quickly. One teaspoon of salt. And then our baking soda is going to be half a teaspoon. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this baking soda in this dry ingredient one so that we can just scoop it out and get exactly half. Okay, so we got half a teaspoon of that. And then, let's see, we need half a teaspoon of cinnamon.
Some good stuff. These smell so good. You don't smell it?
So now we're going to have half a teaspoon of cinnamon.
And we're not doing that.
And then we have our semi-sweet chocolate chips. So what Miss Courtney's going to do is she's going to use the electric hand mixer, mix all that a little bit together. And then what we're going to do is add the chocolate chips and the zucchini. Zucchini we need.
Yep.
So for this zucchini we need, drum roll, 3 cups of zucchini. So it's already mixed out, so we're going to go ahead and pour this in there.
Yep. And then we're just going to fold it in there.
Yes, we're going to fold in that as well as our chocolate chips. And so we've got 1.5 cups of chocolate chips. And she's going to mix all of that together. And then we will come back and we'll show you how to roll them and put them on the cookie sheet. Completely mixed it. With this cookie dough, it's not as thick and put together as a lot of the cookie dough that you'd find, like maybe peanut butter cookie dough and stuff like that, where you can really form it with your hands. So what we're going to use is spoons. We're going to take 1 spoon, scoop it out, and then we are going to slide it off onto the cookie sheet, and we're just going to do a line of these cookies. Miss Courtney, do you want to do that? Or do you want me to?
You can do it.
Okay. And Miss Courtney, what she's going to do, because she's been kind of mixing stuff, she's going to change out her gloves because they got a little bit of stuff on.
Yes.
finished both of our cookie sheets. We have put 4 rows of 3, so we have 12 on each one. We are going to go pop these in the oven, one on the top rack, one on the bottom rack, and then we will watch them go. So we will meet you over there. All right, we have our oven preheated to 350, so we're going to put this tray on the top, and then we're going to put the other tray on the bottom. And then we are going to cook them, and about halfway through, we are going to swap them so that they kind of have more of an even cooking to them. All right, and we'll check on them later.